And moving right along here, let's talk to Brad Cabana. Brad, you're on the air.
Good day, Bill. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Brad. Where are you now as we speak? Are you back in the province, or are you still out west?
We'll be, next week we're coming home for a couple months before we go back to work again, so I'm looking forward to that. Very excited.
Fantastic. It was nice to hear from you, Brad. Before we do anything else, have you received your statement of claim and all that yet?
Yes, I was just served that yesterday.
Okay, so it did come after a while. The last time I heard you on the media, I don't think you had received it. You were done the discourtesy of hearing on the news that you had been sued before even receiving the papers.
Well, I guess I've become accustomed to that kind of behavior.
Okay, good enough.
But, I wanted to talk about Muskrat Falls, Bill.
Okay, go ahead.
I was listening with interest to your comment on it earlier in the week when you said that you had come around to the point of frame of mind that you thought it was perhaps a good deal.
Yeah.
And
I'm open to argument on it, but I'm saying to myself, my goodness, it's a non-renewable resource. I mean, it's a renewable resource. It's a couple of provinces involved. We're not getting anywhere with Quebec. The federal government is involved in it. I mean, if we're going to go ahead and develop energy sources, what could be better than this one?
Well, I mean, I appreciate your points. I guess the first thing I wanted just to touch on quickly is the fact that Emera right now appears to be and is actually negotiating with Hydro-Quebec. I don't know if you've heard that or not.
Vague rumors about it. Where do you pick up on it?
Jim Morgan was on last week, and I subsequently went and got that confirmed by an independent source in the national media.
Yeah. So
they heard that from Emera. The media people heard it from Emera. So Emera's been in negotiation now for 4 weeks with Hydro-Quebec. So I think that, what we're seeing maybe with the Emera deal right now, I mean, it's been, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's been about almost 19 months since it was first signed, and it's still not finished. I think what we're seeing now is Nova Scotia looking to back out of that deal. There was a lot of political pressure in Nova Scotia to get the cheapest rates, and I imagine if Hydro-Quebec's involved, the rates are probably somewhere in the 5 cents a kilowatt hour.
And as you say that, Premier Dexter was down here recently in the last few days, meeting with the Premier here, saying everything is hunky-dory.
Well, the interesting thing is, and I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but the loan guarantee as put forward, verbally by Mr. Harper is for both Emera and Nalcor. Not the governments in Newfoundland, not the government in Nova Scotia. So if the deal between Emera and Nalcor is upended, if you will, by Hydro-Quebec, there is no loan guarantee, because the loan guarantee is specifically for those two companies and the agreement that they initially signed back in November 2010.
Well, when I hear of Emera negotiating, or the provincial government of Nova Scotia having anything to do with Quebec, I say to myself, more power to them. Why aren't we trying to negotiate something sensible with Quebec? I don't mean sell them the shop as we did before. I don't mean be ripped off as we were before. I mean, as two sister provinces and the federal government involved, let's get a reasonable deal, sharing the resource there as best we can, taking into consideration all aspects of it, and make a good, reasonable deal with our neighboring province, rather than avoiding them like they were the plague or something. What's your take on that?
Well, at some point in time, it comes back to hurt you more than hurt the other person. I mean, frankly, we're a minor player in hydro compared to Hydro-Quebec.
We are, yes. Most
provinces are, not just Newfoundland.
Sure.
But when you think about it, the primary reason that we need power is for the mines developing in Labrador. And the Upper Churchill is already built. I don't see any logical reason why we wouldn't run lines and do a power purchase agreement with Hydro-Quebec for the next 25 years to supply power into those mines, and instead take our oil profits and put them towards the provincial debt, so that we get in a position financially like in Alberta, and it's a win-win situation. I mean, in 2041, we would inherit the Upper Churchill and also all that infrastructure that's in place. So, it's a much cheaper route, and at the same time, we can use the oil profits to pay down or pay off the debt. I mean, it's a no-brainer, really.
Right.
Hydro-Quebec, as I understand it, they had a 5,000 megawatt surplus last year that they couldn't sell. So That's almost the entire production of the Upper Churchill, by the way. So
that's an interesting point. I must dig into that myself.
Yes. So I mean, they have a massive surplus last year that they couldn't sell, and which gives them plenty of opportunity, by the way, to go in and lowball in Nova Scotia, as they have done in the United States. But the point of the matter is that, you know, on a financial point of view, we're saddling the people of the province with a lot of debt when an alternative is so simple, and we can use the oil money for business or for paying debt that actually earns money. Hydropower doesn't make money. It's, you know, Manitoba Hydro just canceled the dam that was going to only produce 3 cents a kilowatt hour for sales in the States. Their PUB canceled the dam.
Interesting.
And, the market just isn't there.
Brad, we're running out of time. I have to go to a break soon, but I can't say goodbye without asking you, what are you going to do now about that lawsuit launched against you by former Premier Danny Williams and friends? Are you going to put in a defense?
Oh, absolutely. And not only are we putting in a defense, but we are also going to be countersuing them. You're going to countersue them? On what grounds? We'll be countersuing them on, well, I don't really want to get onto that now. My lawyer's still doing it, but on 2 grounds. They will be countersued, and part of it will have to do with the freedom of expression and charter rights as well. When your lawyer finishes up the documentation there and gets it all registered and served and everything, get back to us and tell us, give us a sort of a progress update, if you would, sir. If I'm allowed to, I'll be more than pleased to. Okay. Okay, Bill. Thank you very much. You bet. Take care. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.